Any idea how hard this is one-handed? Yeah, buddy. She's out. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and we are going to take apart the motor. That's correct. We're going to show you everything that this shop rag did. Well, we thought it was a shop rag, but it's actually way worse. Way worse. It's kind of hysterical. So we got the motor on the engine stand right now. We got the intake taken off, and this is what we found inside. Oh. Yep. Luckily, these lifters, they can be cleaned. Take them apart, clean them. Gotta take all the rockers apart. Pretty sure there's bearings inside those rockers. So I'll have to take that apart and clean them as well. But, yep, we're gonna start tearing this whole thing apart and pull the lifters out and see how bad they are. All right, so I did something pretty dumb. I'm gonna show you guys. So as you can see here, I left the flex plate on. I put it on the stand. One of my buddies came in and goes, you know, it's like the first thing you pull off, right? Well, I forgot that the motor's gotta be completely torn apart before it goes back in. So I'm not used to taking that off. So I did put this back on the engine hoist, take this off, and put it back on the stand. And then I can start tearing everything apart, because the reason why I don't take the heads off yet is because I actually put my bolts in here, put the chains through them, and that's how I jack it up. So, all right, so it's fairly simple. This just, after you take that set screw out, like I just said, and this loosens up. These come out. And this is your main reason why you want to have valve covers that clear, because as you can see, the old valve covers I used to have on this motor, they've rubbed, and I actually took the valve covers off, I think for a picture to show the rockers, to be honest with you. And I noticed this, and I talked to Tyler, and he's like, they're not clearing, you need bigger valve covers. That's when I went with the nice fab aluminum valve covers. So I'm going to unscrew this one, take these all off. These ones are already off, and as you can see, it's bad. This stuff is everywhere. So I can't wait to pull the oil pan off and really see what it looks like, and pull all the push rods out. Now, these are gonna all have to be checked to make sure they're all straight and not bent, but for now, we're gonna put them in here. Now, guys, you wanna keep, a lot of mechanics, I'm not a mechanic, but a lot of mechanics, they know where everything goes. They keep like a tab of everything, and they know what bolts go where. For me, I'm keeping all my valve train stuff in here, and all my bolts and everything I took off this motor. Every time I took a part off this motor, I took a plastic baggie, I put the bolts in the baggie, and I marked it. That way I know for absolute fact where they go back at. Last year I didn't do that. There was bolts everywhere. I ended up losing bolts, not knowing where bolts went, had to find out online what size bolts certain parts took, had to reorder them or go to the hardware store. I'm not doing it this year. Every time I take a bolt out, it goes in a plastic bag, and I'm marking it, and that's how we're doing it. So pull all these rods out. If you guys look, this is how the oil gets up through. We're gonna get this all pulled apart, then we're gonna get the heads pulled off, and then we'll end up flipping it over, and we'll get the oil pan pulled off. But we wanna get the whole valve train off, that way we can keep everything together. The more I pour this motor apart, the more I realize how bad a shop rag will destroy it. I wish someone could be here to hold the camera, but I can pull the lifters out now. Let me just show you guys something. Look at that. In the roller. It's terrible. So the oil goes through this hole, comes up through those holes there, which then push the oil up through the push rod, which then comes up through that hole there, which then comes out through there and oils all that, which also goes through there and oils this as well, as long as everything on the top end. So it's astonishing to actually think that all this material actually went through that little hole and cycled through the motor so many times. And if you look, these things are coated in oil, so it still had great oil pressure, which is crazy. But Yeah, we're gonna have to pull these apart and see how bad they actually are. I mentioned too, when you're pulling these out, go around and check. You don't want any gouges. You know, you're gonna have some normal wear here and there. But look at that. Guys, it's all shop rag material. That is crazy. It is packed in everything. Nuts. All right, well, we're gonna get the rest of this pulled apart. We're gonna get the heads off. So when you torque heads down, there's a pattern to do. You always work from the inside out. So I was told when pulling the head off, I'm gonna work from the outside in. These two, and then those two, and then that, and then that, and then that, and then that, and then that. And then we will go over the process of installing them back on when they actually go back on. But I think I'm gonna actually send these heads out and have them all cleaned. Because even though I could probably clean them myself, I should probably have the valves looked at, all the seals and everything else. Because these are, this whole motor is, it's, when I say trash, I don't mean it's gone. It's literally full of trash. So hopefully the cam, the crank, and everything else looks good. I'm sure the crank is gonna have to get polished. But I guess we won't figure that out until we get the rest of it pulled apart. So, guys, it is literally everywhere. At this point, this is awesome. Like, most people will be like, oh man, it sucks. I get it, it does suck. But this is pretty awesome. Like, taking this apart and seeing every single little crevice that this shop rag went in it's mind-boggling, honestly. You would never expect it. Like when I first cut the oil filter open, that's how I found out. I took the oil filter and cut off. When I first did that, I was like, okay, it didn't get anywhere. There's no way it could have got to the oil filter. It couldn't have got through any of this stuff. No, surprise. It is in every little tiny baby possible crevice ever. The front pulley off, we're gonna pull the balancer off, we're gonna get this off and get the oil pan off and actually see what the inside of the motor.
Put 2 fingers here and then 2 fingers in the exhaust port and then pick
All right,
it up.
lift it off.
Oh, you want me to pick it up?
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, just grab the middle 2 intake or exhaust ports and then you just
Ooh.
pick it straight up.
Does it?
Hard to check them. Disassemble and clean them.
Is that what you would do for the same price? I guess check-in does disassemble it, doesn't it?
Yeah, when he did mine, both of my heads cost me $300, but he had to machine them and put guides in one of the heads.
I wonder if that's how must happen. We're gonna send these out. I have a local guy that is gonna take care of these for me. Tyler suggests that we clean them up, so I don't blame them. They do look pretty rough. Welcome to the new professional race motor builder. If you guys need engines built, contact me. No, I'm just kidding. Don't contact me. Any idea how hard this is one-handed? All right, guys, don't videotape and try to do this. Try again. This time with some force. Ah! Oh, I got it! All right, boys, we got it. Oh, I don't know who put this thing on, like the Hawk. Sorry, Tyler. All right. Oh, look, it's clean. It came out clean. You sure it's gonna be oil on this?
Probably not.
It's probably just clogged. It's probably a shop. I probably put the shop rag in the filter. We're gonna keep this new filter clean. Bro, how is that even possible? Seriously though, the motor's never upside down. How is that possible? Why is there no oil in the filter, Tyler? It's not, there's not a drop. It's dry. The filter's dry. Is that do you think that's clogged and never even got to it?
Possibility.
I don't know what oil boys we ran this motor, but it did a good job because clearly when I was driving it, it wasn't even cycling oil because I put this oil filter, it feels heavy though. I put this oil filter on before the car show when I got the exhaust finished. And that was the last drive that the truck went on and there's not, look, it's dry. I'm not, Okay. All right, boys, here it comes. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, no. Oh, my. Yo, what is this? What is that? Is that part of the gasket?
Yeah.
Holy. Holy. I'm gonna need a new pickup tube, aren't I?
The pump and the pickup tube's trash.
Oh, look at this. Yep. So let's just hope nothing got hot. I want to be surprised. That makes sense why there's no oil in the oil filter, because how could it even get to the oil filter when it came and pick up the oil? Oh, I pray that nothing got hot. All right, well, we got double roller.
You don't lose that button either, because it's a roller cam. It uses that to hold it in.
This whole thing?
Yeah.
I don't want to lose anything, to be honest with you. Guys, half torn apart motor for sale. We are, we're kind of going through an issue here. Tyler told me I need a new chain, so I'm just selling the whole motor now because I can't afford it. We weren't bad. And we had the budget, and then he told me that this is gonna be like another $35, and I told him I'm done, I'm out. So everything is for sale for a low price of $25,000. You can have a motor that needs rebuilt.
Under the fuel pump stopped working. The lobe's going off the cam. There's so much shit around the cam, it don't want to come out.
Like what? Like paper?
Yeah.
Yep. Holy. Yeah. That's stopping the cam from coming out. If you guys need a shop rag, barely used, like new condition. Figured out that it wasn't a shop rag. Guys, it's like a bath towel. Look at this. This must have been, I know exactly what this is, I'll tell you right now. Before this motor went in the truck, we pulled the pan off, and I guarantee there was a shop rag, not a shop rag, a bath towel wrapped around this, because this is ridiculous. He just pulled this off. He literally pulled this right off of the cam. I don't know how this thing ran, but that's where it is, guys. There you go. That's what went through my motor.
Don't drop it, because it will break.
All right, we got the cam. So, I don't know who David C is, but that's definitely not who this motor was built for. All this stuff, this was wrapped around the cam. Wrapped. We had to go in through here, like you guys just saw, and rip it out to get the cam out. Well, Tyler pulled the cam out. I would have broke everything trying to get this thing out. I can't believe, guys, I can't believe this. Look at this. It's like a bath towel. The cam looks good. Hopefully we'll get it cleaned up. Found out why the fuel pump went. The fuel pump, the mechanical pump went because the lobe got ground off. So hopefully they can just clean that up. Yeah, we have an electric pump on it now, so that's not gonna make an issue. But yeah, I'll figure out the cam specs so we can get it tuned better. I'm so happy that I did this, or we did this, because I feel like if I took this to an engine builder, he probably would just tell me that he doesn't want to talk to me no more. Listen, bath towels are meant for showers, not motors. But if you look, it's tough to see in the video, but just your normal wear on the first bearing. Everything looks pretty good. Tyler helped me pull off the first one, which is cool because I don't know what I was doing. So he said we stamped every single one. So this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, 5, 6. You get the point. So when I take these off, I have to make sure this is dead straight with that. I unbolt, I unbolt these 2 bolts, and then I'm gonna tap this. When I get these bolts out, I'm gonna tap this with a rubber mallet just to break the seam right there. Well, we don't have a rubber mallet, but what we do have is a flooring hammer, because I have a lot of those. And then I'm just gonna wrap it in a bag. That way I don't actually get oil on the flooring hammer. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do. You'll rotate it, and you'll get that one straight, then that one straight, that one. We'll get all those taken out, and then I'll take off all my main caps. We had to stamp everything, like I said before. That way I know exactly where they go back at. Once I get that off, I'm actually going to leave I'll take the main caps off just to see what the bearings look like, and to see what the crank itself looks like. As you can see, that looks pretty good for the rod, but I'm gonna take off all these main caps just to see what everything looks like, and then I'm just gonna put them back on snug and tighten them back down and wait to take this off fully until it goes to the machine shop. That way I don't just have my crank standing up somewhere. All this stuff's pretty expensive, and I don't want anything to warp or fall or anything like that. So I'll get back to that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take all these off and check every single one of these. All right, so I got all the rods and pistons out. And from the look of it, all the cylinders look pretty good. Besides, there's shop rag stuff everywhere. See it all? It's everywhere. But so the crank itself looks perfect. If he wants to polish it, he's more than welcome to. I gotta pull these main caps off. I gotta get a tape measure and measure for my windage tray first, so I can write this down and get that perfect. And there was one bearing in one of these pistons. This one, a little bit more than abnormal. Still like smooth. I said, I might be wrong. I don't do this for a living, but what I was told, and I know they're supposed to be standing up, but currently this weighs too much and they fall down. So I'll fix that later. But for right now, they're like that. So every other one looks perfectly fine, all the bearings. Even though I'm replacing all the bearings, guys, don't think I'm not replacing the bearings. They're all getting replaced. We'll get all the main caps taken off and we'll check that. Like I said, though, when I take them off, I'm going to put the main caps back on top and just leave it like that until it gets ready to go to the machine shop, which hopefully is in the next couple days. That way I don't just have the crank laying around. I really wanted to get all pulled apart as much as I could for him. And it's a learning process for me as well. You know, I could have paid him the disassembly fee and then the assembly fee, which wouldn't have been that much more, to be honest with you, but I kind of wanted to learn how this all works. I've never had anything like this apart before. You know, when you have a motor built and they tell you the specs of it and everything is done to it, you don't always know for 100% if that's exactly what's done to the motor, especially if you're not a mechanic or you don't build motors or you don't build race cars. And, you know, if you look at me, like some people probably try to like talk me into stuff or lie to me or take advantage of it. Built exactly how it was said with all the forged internals, you know, the stroker crank. And the only thing I didn't know specs on was the cam, which I'm happy that I'm not gonna say I'm happy that this motor came apart, but I'm kind of like, I'm not upset about it because now I can know the specs of the whole motor and I can actually tune the truck to what the motor is, because I bought this motor off of a buddy and we had no idea what the cam specs were. We had no idea what the specs of the motor itself were. Now I can actually gap the rings on the pistons because this truck will be getting boost. Absolutely ecstatic. You have no idea. You know, a lot of people are gonna be like, Dane, why aren't you upset? You destroyed your motor, blah, blah. No, I didn't. I damaged some things, but all the expensive stuff is still intact. It's all good to go. I just have to pull a little bit of money out of my pocket to get it fixed. You know, it is a speed bump, and if I could take back putting the rag around the pickup tube, I would 1000% do that. And then the truck wouldn't be apart. As you can see now, it's apart and the motor's everywhere. But this is a learning experience for me. I promise you I'll never put a rag in a motor again. And this is cool because now I know how a motor works. I know how it all goes together. This is all new to me, guys. Some of the guys that follow the channel are probably like, Dane, a motor is so simple. Well, guys, I don't do this for a living and I've never done this before. So it's difficult for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these main caps and I'm just going to look at it and I'm going to put it back on, but I'm not going to videotape it. So, but yeah, the motor's pulled apart. You know, I got all my bins here. That's going to get cleaned. Everything is hopefully going to get sent out in the next couple of days. I'm going to call the guy tomorrow and be like, hey, man, the motor's ready. When can I drop it off? He's going to take care of me. We're going to get it all put back together. We're going to put it back in the truck, and we're going to spray all the nitrous we can. Hopefully, like 2 weeks. Once this comes back, I want 2 weeks before I spray this thing and I race Rob. Is going to be ridiculous because if you guys watched the last video, Rob C6 is going to be making mid 700s, and this truck might make 200 wheel horsepower. Finish this up, and then yeah, let's yep. Don't forget, guys, to go down and hit that subscribe button. I cannot wait to get this thing back on the street and race Rob from a dig. 750 horsepower to the wheel, if not more. C6 supercharged in my shitbox truck. If I win, it's going to be the end of everything. If I lose, I mean, he's got 200 and some wheel horsepower on me, probably, if not more. So, guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and you guys have a great night.